Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In budget estimates recently, I inquired about advanced education, the carbon tax, and unintended costs. The member for Edmonton Gold Bar stated, I wasn't involved with any of the consultations with respect to the Climate Leadership Plan. To the Environment Minister, therefore, if your ministerial colleague did not consult with post-secondary institutions, surely you must have. So please tell us, which post-secondary institutions did you consult with, and will the carbon tax be downloaded onto students?
Minister of Environment and Parks.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and certainly through the fall, through the Climate Leadership Plan consultations undertaken by the Leach panel, we did a number of technical engagement sessions with a number of institutional players, and certainly examined in great detail efficiency investments that we could make with respect to buildings, codes, retrofits, and so on, Mr. Speaker. And that is why we have put aside $45 million for an energy efficiency agency that will be working with various stakeholders, including institutional stakeholders like post-secondaries, hospitals and schools, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that we've got the
Thank you, Honourable Minister. First supplemental.
Since we didn't hear any specific questions, we'll try this another way. Given that the minister in charge stated, we expect administration at universities to manage their budgets accordingly so that when they're subjected to the carbon levy, the financial administration is dealt with accordingly. To the Environment Minister again, how do you expect post-secondary institutions to manage their budgets if they have no indication from you, specifically, what the costs of the carbon tax will be for them?
Honourable Minister.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and this is why we are undertaking a great deal of work around energy efficiency so that individuals, small businesses, and institutional players like post-secondary, schools, hospitals, and others can reduce their costs and also at the same time reduce their emissions. That's why we are putting a price on carbon, Mr. Speaker. That's why across the spectrum that approach is favoured as a market-based approach that gets to reducing pollution, Mr. Speaker, and ensuring that we are preparing Alberta for the economy of tomorrow.
Second supplemental.
By decreasing, I think she means increasing. In any case, given that the Adult Learning Review was announced a full year ago, and when I asked in this House on April the 7th when it would finally begin, you stated in the fullness of time. And given that in advanced education estimates, the minister indicated this review will be instrumental in determining how students and institutions will deal with the carbon tax, to the minister, is this now the fullness of time? And will you launch this review before most students resume their classes in September?
Minister of Advanced Education.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you to the honourable member for the question. Of course, we are still in the fullness of time, Mr. Speaker, and so once we reach the appropriate time to launch the Adult Learning Review, we will do that. What I did inform the member in estimates, Mr. Speaker, was that the Adult Learning Review will now be conducted in phases, one of which will be a funding and tuition review that we plan to undertake in the near future. And I will keep the member updated, as well as all of the other members of the House, when we begin those undertakings, Mr. Speaker.